Thank you for staying with us. I'm Jessica, and as I promised, we have three great gentlemen here right now to talk to us about a rising concern and issue in the community. We have Robert, Dave, and Fred. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on the show today. They're here to talk to us about, there's been a lot of discussion on possibly having red light cameras at some of the intersections in the city, along with possibly some other areas in the county and surrounding area. Now, a lot of members of the community have a lot of concerns about this. And Fred, why don't you kind of bullet point some of those concerns that members of the community and you guys have with that?
Okay, well, our biggest concern is that the reason, the rationale that they've used for bringing in red light cameras was for safety. The more we got to digging into that issue, we found that perhaps they hadn't done their research, because safety, if we're really concerned with safety, red light cameras, for whatever reason, tend to increase the accident rate. It changes people's behavior, and they react differently than they would normally going through an intersection, perhaps slamming on their brakes, whatever, increasing rear-end accidents. So statistically valid studies showed this, so we got to digging deeper, and then we ran into an issue where the city apparently was moving full force, full steam ahead at trying to put up these cameras without a real input by the citizens of the community. So we kind of organized ourselves and put together a public forum, of which we had over 50 citizens show up to hear Dr. Gadecki give a wonderful presentation. From that, we have a number of concerns: privacy issues, concerns in terms of constitutional issues. I, as a business person in the community, am very concerned about being a friendly city. That is, people feeling like they can come into town and not have to worry about big government watching what they're doing. But kind of share other.
Yeah, Robert, talking before the show, you were also very passionate about opposition to having these cameras at the intersection. Do you want to share some of your thoughts?
Well, the first thing is, in support of what he said, is that it seemed like it was being railroaded, because we found out, as he said, a lot of things that we didn't know. This has been going on since last fall, and the citizens only first heard about it on an agenda for the March meeting of the City Council, where they were prepared to vote on the first passage of changing an ordinance in the city's code to say that running red lights is no longer a moving violation. It's a non-moving violation, which we sort of thought that sounded like newspeak from 1984, and there's a reason for it. It makes it a civil offense, not a criminal offense. That's why there's only a $50 fine limit on it, and it means that you're guilty until proven innocent. Those things kind of shook us up a little bit too. But what really concerned us most was the lack of hard evidence from the city to show that we need this. Perhaps it is a good idea, but you should always start with data that says we've had this many problems were caused by running of red lights, this many people were killed, et cetera, and we propose that this will eliminate that or reduce it down to a level that we can live with. We asked for that in the March meeting. Karen Buckley, a citizen here in the Oak Ridge area, stood up and said, well, do you have data that you can present to us? There was silence from the city council, which kind of concerned us. Ellen Smith, one of the council people, did speak up and ask for that data, and in the next two meetings that we attended in April and in May, there was no evidence. But we went to a work session the other night, and lo and behold, there was evidence, but it had nothing to do with red lights. It had to do with a decrease in accidents from year to year. So our question was, if they're already decreasing without red light cameras, why do we need them? We're just asking for hard data to say, why do we need these? Because it's been submitted by some that these are not really about safety, they're about raising revenue for the city.
Now, Robert, obviously I've seen your notes before we came on the air. You're very passionate about it and have several pages of notes. If other people would like to get involved and hear more of what you guys have to say about the lights, you said you have a forum. When are you guys meeting?
Well, Jessica, we've organized a group called the Tennessee Liberty Alliance.
Okay.
And basically it's a nonpartisan organization of just citizens. Because really we found that, we've all sort of like-minded in that we are pro-liberty, we're pro-freedom, and we're not anti-government. First of all, let me say that. We're not anti-government, but we are for liberty, and that means less government. Because we feel that the government, in many ways, have taken our responsibility away from us for exchange of for some of our liberties.
Exactly.
And so we just got together, and as we got together, we realized that there was a lot of members in this community that had the same concern we did, but they had no idea that there was a forum available. So we began to sort of organize, and that's basically really what we want to do. We want to get people involved in their government again. Everybody's lost interest. Nobody cares. They're hurt. They've lost hope in it. There are more people. I mean, how many votes did the American Idol get? And you got 12 million votes for the winner of the American Idol.
Right.
The President of the United
I think
States.
I was one of those.
Yeah. Well, whether, and that's great. That doesn't matter. But and I don't have any problems with that at all. But the President of the United States isn't going to get anywhere near that kind of vote. Nobody cares. So we just want to get people involved again. We just want to get people involved in their government so they can look at it and guide their government the way they're supposed to. And we're sort of a watchdog of, we sort of promote ourselves as a watchdog group, but that doesn't mean it's all negative for the government. You know,
Exactly.
When the government is doing something that they should be doing, we're going to be on their side.
Okay.
I'll add to that too, in
We
that.
just have a couple of seconds.
Okay.
We gotta go.
We've been labeled by some.
That's right.
We've been labeled by some as radicals just because we're protesting.
Yeah.
And we stood up in front of every meeting and said, we certainly don't want anyone running red lights. We're not against safety.
That's
Right.
exactly
By
right. So
protesting.
tnliberty.org.
Okay, so tnliberty.org. If you'd like more information, you can call the station. We'll pass on these gentlemen's information to you as well. Certainly could go on and on talking about
sure.
this, and so we'd hope if members of the community are interested in getting involved in this forum that they do that. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Thank you for
having
having
you
us.
here. And for our viewers at home, I know everyone is anxious to see what the weekend weather is looking like. Stick around. We'll have that and sports coming up next.